and just want to welcome everybody to First Street. And I don't know how many more press conferences we'll have here, but shortly we expect to be in our new digs where we'll be working on this fleet. We've got a great number of city staff here, but I want to first introduce Paul Flogel, and he is the Auto Technician Program Director at Madison College, and a great majority of our fleet service staff have taken courses there and have been involved in the technology education, particularly as it relates to electric vehicles. From MG&E, we've got Steve Schultz and Debbie Branson, and they will be coming up here after Paul and going through some of the functions of our partnership with MG&E and how we are going electric. And Maria Redmond is probably the best recycler we've got, because she's arranged for us through the State Office of Energy Innovation to recycle funds that are about a decade old and coming in here to help us with this program. So we've got an international challenge, and that international challenge is climate change, global warming, and here in the U.S., it's a particularly difficult challenge because under the present administration of Donald Trump, we are not getting the kind of leadership that this nation and the world deserves. But we are one of several hundred cities that have re-ratified the Paris Accords and have said, regardless of what happens in Washington, we will continue to be focused and to work towards a clean environment and one that reduces the carbon footprint as soon as we can. This is an opportunity here today to witness the transformation of our fleet. It's going to improve our community's air quality and, as I said, contribute globally to the goals of everyone throughout the world. Transportation is one of the largest sources of greenhouse gas emissions. Internationally, it accounts for 28%, and it, along with what happens in terms of our buildings, are the two greatest sources of greenhouse gases. The Madison fleet is 1,400 vehicles. We see a lot of them in terms of police cars, fire trucks, sanitation vehicles, but almost every city agency, parks, the city attorney's office, the city clerk's office, when we're holding elections, rely on vehicles moving throughout our community. And so it's our objective, led by our fleet services team, to provide environmentally friendly vehicles, fuels, and there's a lot of other things we can do to make vehicles more efficient. Being careful as to the fluids in the vehicle, making sure that the tires are at the optimum pressure, and so on. Well, one of the key elements in electric vehicles is that the City of Madison owns now 5 plug-in electric vehicles, including the vehicles you see here. The Chevy Bolt is a zero-emission vehicle that can operate with a range up to 240 miles on a single charge, which means we can get to most major urban and rural areas of the state on a round trip on one charge. And it means that we are committed to combining biodiesel, hybrids, anti-idling technology within the projects developed by our team here at Fleet Services. Now, this is all made possible by a grant from the State Office of Energy Innovation and MG&E. by 2020, our fleet's going to include 20 of these all-electric Chevy Bolts. The fleet team is investigating other electric vehicles and vans, pickup trucks, as they enter the market. We'll be having quite a few hybrids in the police department in the near future. And it'll bring the total number of electric vehicles in the Madison fleet to 30, which is by far the largest in the state for any governmental body. We do have a lot more to do, but these efforts are dependent upon the men and women of Fleet Services, the wisdom of our elected leadership, and of course, the Madison public, which is demanding that we move as quickly as possible to a green program that is going to minimize those greenhouse gases. Finally, one of the best aspects of this electric vehicle grant program is that the fleet's working in combination with Madison Gas and Electric, the Madison Metropolitan Sewage District, and Madison College to develop this fleet and charger maintenance through their curriculum at Madison College for high school and college automotive students, and keeping our own staff updated and current in terms of technology. At this point, I guess it's up to me to start out by introducing Maria Redman, who's going to talk about the state involvement and how we've been so fortunate to see this recycled grant give us the impetus to make this big step forward.
Thank you so much for that kind introduction. I've had the great honor of working with the City of Madison on a number of projects over the many years I've been in state service. I'm now going 18 years, and a majority of the time I've worked in state service has been on transportation, and I've been able to enjoy my work with the city. I just putting it in perspective, just so you know who I am, I'm the director of the Wisconsin Office of Energy Innovation. We're located at the Public Service Commission of Wisconsin, and I am excited to be here, but I would like to put things in perspective for folks. The state of Wisconsin is a net energy importer, which also means that we're exporting a lot of our dollars out of state. So we're constantly looking for great projects and great ways to keep our economy going and keep the money here in the state, as well as looking to our environment and great projects like this to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions and improve the economy. 38% of the energy that we consume here in the state is in the transportation sector. So we actually, you might think it's in buildings or the different industrial sector, but it's really transportation. And so we really need innovative projects and leadership, especially on the municipal level. When people see fleets as leaders changing and they see these vehicles on the road, they turn and look and say, hey, why is my city adopting this? Is this something that I can do? And so I think that the fleets are ultimately the pioneers in this, and so it's really exciting to be a part of that. I have a very enjoyable job because I get to give out funding for projects, innovative projects that save energy, that are energy efficient, where we can save fuel. We can look at different opportunities for other types of fuel that we may even produce here in the state, like biodiesel or ethanol. And so I get the fun job of looking at these projects and being able to fund projects. And just to put it in perspective as well, we launched the Energy Innovation Grant Program last year. It was seeded by a Clean Energy Manufacturing Revolving Loan Fund, and we were able to repurpose that funding over to a grant program and open the eligibility to schools, local governments, universities, hospitals, and keep manufacturers in there as well. So widen the eligibility. And so we pushed out our first round of that program and made $5 million of the $25 million that we're going to have available under that program. We made that available last year, and we got an amazing response. We had 100 applications for $31 million in requests for funding. And so it's really important to note that we went through a really significant evaluation process, and the City of Madison got high ranked in that because of the emissions benefits, because of the cost savings, and we really want to see how the electric vehicles work in a fleet setting. So we're happy to provide a small, it's not a huge grant, but I think it will go a long way when it comes to helping you meet your goals as well as the state's goals. We hope to do another grant round in the spring or summer. We're working on that right now, so keep your eyes open for that. So we're really excited to do that. And another thing to be aware of is that the Public Service Commission has opened a docket on electric vehicles, a notice of investigation, because we want to be doing the right thing when it comes to electric vehicle deployment. We're seeing a huge transition and a huge demand from customers to push out electric vehicles, and we want to do it the right way. So we also want to do it collaboratively. So we opened this notice of investigation. It's not something that the Public Service Commission does, but we wanted to get out there and say, hey, we want to do this the right way, and you need to give us some information on your perspective on how to make this work so that we can really see a good deployment of these vehicles throughout the state. So I know that there are going to be more projects in the future for us to work on. I'm really excited to do that, and I'm just honored to be able to be a part of this effort.
Thank you, Maria, and the Office of Energy Innovation. So Steve Schultz and Debbie Branson have been critical, along with MG&E, in making this happen. It's really important, obviously, to have charging stations. And so to describe MG&E's role here, Steve Schultz.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for having us here today. It's a pleasure to be here. MG&E and the city have a long history of working together to achieve shared goals, and we look forward to further building upon our progress and bringing clean energy technology to our community for the benefit of everyone. As the mayor mentioned, transportation accounts for about 28% of greenhouse gas emissions. Electrification of transportation is a key strategy to achieving deep decarbonization. It's a strategy shared by both the city and MG&E. MG&E's growing network of public charging stations consists of more than 30 charging stations throughout the Madison area, all of which are powered by 100% wind energy. Additional charging stations are planned for 2019. Our Charge at Home program gives customers the ease of charging from their garage or their driveway. MG&E also works with Madison area businesses to give those folks, help them design and implement workplace charging programs. Those are just a few of the things that we're doing to work to help electrify transportation in the Madison area. And of course, we're also working with the city. MG&E is happy to have teamed up with the city on this Office of Energy Innovation grant and contribute to the cost of the chargers for the new EVs in the city's fleet, and continue to provide technical assistance and expertise for this project as well. We're also very excited to partner with the city in pursuing federal funding that enables the city to acquire 3 all-electric buses for the Metro Transit fleet. MG&E is providing the local matching funds for charging infrastructure and technical expertise to ensure the cost-effective use of energy to power those buses. MG&E remains committed to working with the city, Metro Transit, and other community stakeholders to advance new, cleaner energy technologies to reduce our community's collective environmental impact. Electric vehicles are the future of transportation. MG&E very supportive of the idea of creating more training for auto tech students to be exposed to and better understand EVs, the charging infrastructure, the maintenance, that type of thing. And we certainly applaud the city and Fleet Services for the important work that they're doing with students in the area and will continue to do with those automotive students as well. So thank you again for having us here today. Really appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. So there's that old rule that you never ask a question in public unless you already know the answer. But I'm going to ask the question anyway. I'm just curious in terms of Fleet Services staff who are here this afternoon. If you've been through the Madison College program, can you please raise your hand? And so we got about 3, 4, 5 people who've gone through it. So, Paul, nothing gets done in the city unless our vehicles work. Whether we're dealing with floods, whether we're doing regular maintenance on our sewer systems, whether it's all those other agencies, police, fire, and so on, all these vehicles we've seen out all winter, and it doesn't work unless there's the staff to keep those vehicles maintained and operating. So, first way of introducing you is to say thank you for providing not just the city of Madison, but the service area of Madison College with trained folks who can keep us moving. And could you just tell us a little bit about your program and how you're transforming your coursework to deal with electric vehicles?
Thank you, Mayor Soglin. So our program is basically, it's from beginning to end. The big demand in our industry and transportation overall and everything else is technicians to service vehicles. So that's a challenge because I've get daily phone calls about they need technicians and they want skilled trade. They want people that are ready, and that's very challenging to do with the technology of today, right? We have all electric vehicles here, and the advanced technology we have in our vehicles today, and as well as other things. So we're trying to get people basic education about the vehicle as well as get to that advanced, and that's a big part of what we do because we know it's coming and we know it's got, the more advanced as we come, right? With camera systems and everything else, as well as electric vehicle propulsion systems. So our students take a hybrid class and to be ready for those systems, to make sure that they're prepared when it comes in the shop and it's in front of them with all sorts of aspects of the car. It's still a vehicle. It's a transportation vehicle. So there's all from the tires to the steering wheel and the gas pedal. So we have to prepare them for those systems, whatever it is, and whatever's coming to the future. So we prepare them about research and how to do the research for that vehicle, so they know what's coming next and what they can do and how to get those challenges accomplished when the vehicle comes in front of their bay. So we look forward to that opportunity. We have 2 students in the high school youth apprenticeship program right now in the back. They work here, so they're great students, work really well with what they're doing in our classes, and we look forward to that opportunity to hopefully bring these guys in and show them some more things about what these vehicles are and how to accomplish to get to that end goal of becoming in here and be able to be prepared for whatever vehicle that the city of Madison wants to put into their fleet and go there, and the opportunity to possibly help out the current technicians to acclimate themselves to new vehicle technology as well. So thank you.
Paul, thank you. And before we conclude, I just want to thank Mahant and all the work that you've done and the staff has done getting us to this position where we can really, enjoy the benefits of an electric fleet. It's not going to happen overnight, but we are making progress and we are doing our part in terms of the challenges of global warming and climate change and greenhouse gases. So I just want to thank everybody for being here. We kind of disrupted the workplace, but I think it's for a good purpose. Thank you all very much.
Just a couple quick comments, and then we can do questions if you have questions for any of us here. I actually believe we're in a war right now for the future of humanity, and that is climate change is that war. And Madison should be leading in this area, and we will be, and we're starting to with programs such as this one. And we have a great team next to us to do that, and I have no doubt we will win this battle with the help of everyone here. I also want to recognize a couple of my staff. Tyson Rossler, he actually buys all the equipment, and Randy Cook and his staff fix all the equipment, so I don't really have anything to do. And yeah, we have, I think, the best team of mechanics around here anywhere, and I'd put our team up against anyone else. In the state, we'll be the largest electric fleet, but I actually want other fleets to compete against us, and this is something that requires all of us, members of the public, other fleets, university, private sector, nonprofit, public sector, all have to work together in order for us to really move forward in this area. But again, I have no doubt we will. So any questions for any of us, let us know. Yes. The grant was for, it was $129,000 and change from Office of Energy Innovation, another $10,000 from MG&E for charging stations. So that offsets the price of buying 20 new cars in this, in these next 2 fiscal years. So it'll be spread out over a 2-year period. So we're hoping to buy all of these by 2020. The 20 will be Chevy Bolts. We've determined that based on it being the best entry-level electric car available. They're also built in Michigan and very well engineered, virtually no maintenance whatsoever. They don't have any fluids to change. There's no moving parts. It's an electric motor and a computer, and it takes care of itself pretty much, except for rotating tires every now and then. We don't expect to do too much maintenance on these if they don't crash. Yes. So Madison Metro it's not necessarily my department, but we work closely with Metro. They're investigating electric buses. There's a lot of good options coming online in that area, and they're expected to have their first 3 in 2020. So if you include the buses that are coming in, and hopefully more options will be available for both hybrids as well as electric, we're going to move very quickly forward in the next couple of years in this area. So this grant is specifically for 20 electric Bolts. We are hoping to apply for more grants in the near future that are out there, federal as well as state, for other things. But this specific grant is only for 20 Chevrolet Bolts. All right. Thank you very much.